reaching.
Yeah, well, let's see. Maybe
I have to find something to say, man.
Yeah, maybe
I gotta sugarcoat it.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, because maybe the game, maybe the draft will tell us a little bit more about it. Let's see. Again, Hehehe is already experienced in the gold lane. GZG taking the Sora out right away, so no one wants to deal with having to draft around the Sora.
Yeah, not even Guangzhou Gaming, who were the ones to first pick it yesterday, so they know how powerful it can be on blue side. It was interesting to see that Axe actually banned it on blue side, by the way, against Guangzhou Gaming yesterday. So that could be something we can bring up later for the matchup against Virtus Pro. The fact that they might not be comfortable on a Sora pick. But still, Guangzhou Gaming focusing hard on the XP lane, dude. I thought maybe this was an Alpha thing yesterday against Axe, but turns out it's their game.
It's been that way for the longest time in the wildcard so far. The Yuzhong, the Lapu Lapu is always getting banned. Speaking of which, Yuzhong hasn't get banned just yet, but I'm interested in the Joy ban because in the last match that they played, Kanoneo, he was popping off with the Joy, man. He's pretty much solo carrying this team, even though the draft maybe not favoring towards them either.
Yep. Star-making performance by Kanoneo on that Joy. The exact stats I will share just a little bit later, but Juicin first pick yet again up against GZG. Comfort, I feel like they could have gone something for like a Kalea, as Pancake loves the pick-off heroes. But the Grok and Lance, easy pickups for GZG, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be the ones setting the tempo here.
Yeah, I like the fact that the Juicin pick comes in with the Yve already banned out, right? I think yesterday we did see a couple of times that the Juicin gets picked up with the Yve still open, and it just gives a way for the opponents to utilize the mid-prio to zone Juicin away and to make her irrelevant in the team fights.
And by the way, you don't really have to pick something like a Farsa or someone that has a range here because you already have two divers already in the Lancelot and also the Grok, so you have that solution for the Jushin. They can hide it for the second phase for Guangzhou Gaming.
Okay, so they really don't need to go for reach as much as they would usually need to. The dive should suffice. If they can pick up the Kalea here, I would prefer that. The Yuzhong would be great as it was open for them, but they...
Wow.
It's happening a lot more often that Claude is showing up.
It's only them, I think. Daylight, I believe, two times he played Claude yesterday, and it didn't work out at all, especially against a carry. Maybe they want to pick a carry here, and it's also a decent kind of like kiting tool against the Yuzhong as well, even though it kind of fares not well against the Jushin.
So I gotta ask you, are you already proud of RLGE?
What do you mean?
They haven't picked the Guinevere yet. I know you.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. You're right. Maybe it's coming the second phase, but hopefully not against a Lancelot and also a Grok.
Why not though? Yesterday.
No, but I get you. I felt Sheffet's frustration through the screen every time it would bring it up. So, Modi actually had a message for us to the casters who praised me in the previous match. Yeah. Aww.
Hey.
And he even used a shy emoji.
Wait, damn.
Whoa, we can't really put the emoji there?
I don't know. Maybe it's.
Oh,
They respect that.
proper respect.
So now are you happy? Are you happy that Guangzhou Gaming banned it, or are you happy that RLG don't get it?
See, I don't want to say this, but this is just how I do things, okay? Guangzhou Gaming, I feel like they're giving them a chance. You know, let's not play the Guinevere. We want you to have a chance to actually win better.
Oh,
wow.
So that's the Sheffin way of looking at things. I like it. It's provocative, but it's cool. Fourth pick here for GZG. Considering that they already have the Lunox in mid, I think maybe just a little bit more range would actually be okay. I know they have a lot of dive, that's fine, but range would be good, or a slower type of gold laner is going to be difficult. Yeah. They can't go all magic, so I wouldn't want them to go Harith.
I think they can just go for the Uranus pick first here. I think it's really, really good, right? Against the Yuzhong, Claude, and the Juicin. It's not really that vulnerable, but they instead go for the CC.
Wait. Should be a CC gold lane, right? Because it's a bad matchup against a Yuzhong in the first place.
Well, I guess they want to utilize it as flex.
Yeah. Not sure if that's gonna be the case, but we'll see in a second.
Yeah. At least I'll have the decision.
Wow. Suyo
goes up. I think RLG are banking on that CC being gold, or they're not expecting like a Harith to show up anymore because at least Suyo doesn't have a lot of magic damage to worry about other than the Lunox.
Wow.
So yeah, it is CC gold. They go Phovis EXP, Suyo in the jungle for them, and then Rome, Cho. So I always like it when there's a Grog on the other side, there's a Cho, and vice versa. At least they can match the aggression. Hopefully both of them are going to be aggressive and no one just decides to go for defensive.
Yeah, hopefully for RLG SE, they can utilize this Yuzhong to the utmost potential because it is kind of a winning lane against a Phobius, so you can maybe emphasize that a little bit more and get the early game objective as much as possible, despite them being up against a Grok, against 2 fighters, and also a Lancelot. That is a tough test, but they gotta do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so general vibes with the drafts. Any preferences here? Let's start with you, Marco.
Just because of the Suyo, man. I'm a Suyo hater in the current patch. I'm gonna go Guangzhou Gaming.
All right, what about you, Chef?
W Modi, Guangzhou Gaming.
All right, so still going strong for GZG. I'm going to have to echo your statement. Let's see if RLG will be able to turn their chances around with a surprise substitution for day number 2. A very important match to win. Start off strong. It's them versus GZG.
Oh, man. It's really tough for you to swap between roles, especially up against Guangzhou Gaming, who are just so versatile, man. Initially, I think we were expecting Owl to be on the marksman picks. Now he's just been full fighter. I think 3 games he's played, all on fighter. It was Sora, then what was game 2? I forgot game 2, but then now a CC pick in game 3 of Wildcards for Owl.
Ooh.
It was Freya.
Freya.
Yeah.
That's a new sight. Like, I've never seen a Claw that picked up the BMI first over the first skill, but that's just how it is if you're up against the CC. You want to evade the strings as much as possible.
I think he just wants to be able to poke a little bit, or also use it for vision. Maybe he was also worried that maybe Owl would just run straight into the nearest bush to surprise him with a yo-yo blitz. Yeah, and it seems like that he just keeps using it to check bushes.
Yeah. Looks like the rotation is gonna be on towards the XP lane here for the mid duo of RLG. So they definitely know the plan because they have the Jushin, they have the Cho, a lot of mobility there, and also the mid prio, that dominance in the bushes.
I like the setup in the early game here for Guangzhou Gaming. They're not taking any risky plays, just freezing the lane in the mid lane, trying to get that prio first. And even in the bottom lane, Modi, understanding the matchup, knows he's going to lose out on the all-in, so he just waits for the Yuzhong to use his skills on the minions, and then he tries to freeze it to maybe set up for a gank.
By the way, Renmar, you've mentioned it already. The lack of magic damage is already hitting in this early of a game. Warrior boots for X-Ying as well. As a mid laner, you don't see that very often, but that's the consequences.
Yeah, I guess with all of the threat of physical just surprising him from out of nowhere, makes sense also to just pick it up and play it safe, but seems like Guangzhou is really going for more a conservative approach with how they're handling the mid, their item selection. Seems to be they're just looking to find a weakness first before they pounce.
All right, AJ Chen going to be all in there. That's the wow, flat dragon from Yuzhong, kind of there on the back line now, jumping in, Phantom Execution over to Radan, and it's X-Ying who secures the turtle. Modi jumping in again, Infernal Pursuit, the Dark Wave doesn't land, but they gets a tech charge on 3. It's a big double for the roamer. Owl walking back.
I really wish it's still named Wild Charge because it's the wild card also. Because that was really wild coming in from Mel.
I was about to say Wild Charge, not gonna lie.
Keep it that way. Keep it that way.
I mean, it's been Wild Charge for the longest time. Maybe old habits die hard. Is that the
Wildcard?
Yes, the thing about old habits, what people say. So, in terms of the emblems, a little bit more agility, but we're not seeing them use it just yet. And it seems like, yeah, our theory was right. Wait, pancake.
He does have Purify, but he just goes for the Brilliance.
Yeah, and he's also out of mana as well. Just might as well just trade some damage. And by the way, I just realized that Owl is on a Purify, not really the usual side that you see on a CC with a Vengeance. I thought it would be a Vengeance just because of the fact that it's up against a Claw too, right? Like it or not, the Claw is going to hit in the back line, and Vengeance is a good way for you to punish that. But they prefer the safe route. But look at this, Modi.
Really good Dark Wave, but the way the Dragon locks him down. Modi, he's been able to make a lot of plays, but this time with 3 members on him, it's tough.
Yeah, it looked like Owl just accepted his fate. He didn't even use that Purify you just pointed out.
Rare L from Modi, but he's got to bounce back for sure because he is in his prime.
Oh, X-Ying, actually. Okay.
Ah, wait, I just realized for a moment there, it was Modi that got pounced.
Yeah.
Not Owl. I'm still so used to seeing the CC get played in the XP lane.
Absolutely, man. I just want to say, though, I actually like the Purify choice in this game over the Vengeance. Yes, you're going to be good against the Claude, but at this point, you're really just playing for the team more, right? You're getting tempo against the Claude, rotating over, and the Purify will help you way more against the Yuzhong and Cho.
Guangzhou still playing steady. I mean, the counter-punch style worked out for them after that turtle, so, I mean, don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah. as they're gonna set up for the turtle here. It's looking, oh, Guangzhou Gaming.
I don't know about the way to dragon over on May, though. Now it's going to be Modi jumping in with a shoulder bash. Oh, in for the pursuit over. Dark Wave as well. Pancake's going to be taken very low. Modi will get the kill on him. It's gets started. Tech charge lands onto HHN. Caught in the bad spot. The shoulder bash locks him. And Cannonair picks up a very easy kill. Good flicker from Modi, but it's answered by the BMI.
Honestly, it's definitely still a W for Guangzhou Gaming as they're gonna take the turtle here, but it wasn't that bad for RLG SE, considering that they're up picking a marksman this early of a game, and that Claude joins the fight and still somehow kind of made a difference, just a bit.
Yeah, I feel like Pancake getting that kick onto that Grok would have been better if it was a little bit later in this game. Because you saw his entry with the Blazing Duet was perfect. He just does not have the damage yet.
Oh no. Thankfully no flicker just yet from May here, and RLG knows that the threat is there.
Oh man, it's so good by Guangzhou Gaming though. As a gold laner, this is tilting, man. When you have the gold crab, or sorry, the gold cannon minion get zoned away from you.
Great control by GG. Oh, cannot arm up against the CC. It's way too difficult. And RLG, they're just behind the tempo. They cannot match their rotation, and now their gold lane suffering for it.
Yeah, it's an easy turret here up top. This is just how it is if you win the lane and also knows how to rotate. So far, RLG SE is definitely a step behind of Guangzhou Gaming in terms of rotation, even in the mid lane, which is supposedly, when you have a Jushin, you are going to be super dominant. Seeing it's not Gansha at all.
Maybe that's why Radiant's Legend is slowing down a little bit in the mid. As we saw there, he just straight up went for the Chaos Assault with the ultimate. Oh, man!
Oh, man, that'll bait out both Crimson Beacon and Flicker. The current call will lock Hehe down as Owl looks to be the one with the last lap. Hehe forced to use the Flicker in forward with Blazing Duet as well, but Owl's still doing so much here. Has to sustain, gets through a Modi, catches him on the Shunpu, and it's X-King with just one into the Brilliance.
Poetry in motion by Guangzhou Gaming. And right now, Radiant's Legend Gaming. The map is definitely red right now. That's a desperation blackjack in form that resulted in nothing.
GG. I like how they're using ultimates at the center of the map to take control there. And it's not just they're trying to bait out abilities, they're also using that knowledge of what Radan or Pancake has used so that they can get plays elsewhere. And yeah, because of that, RLG just now have to accept the fact that they will not be able to control majority of this game. They're gonna have to find a way to crawl back through macro or sheer miracle and luck.
Yeah, considering that they're on a Yuzhong as well, and the value of Yuzhong is so far almost non-existent, man.
Yeah.
0 objective win coming in from Radiant's Legend Gaming, and this should be something like a time bomb for RLG currently. With this much scaling heroes too, Lunox is gonna scale heavily to the mid game.
Seems like the more we really look at it, any point. Oh, Modi!
Dark with a Flicker. Radan does not have any of the blinks available, so it's free. May tries to bait out the Furious Dive, will be able to do it. Knows HHN does not have the Black Dragon form up.
Not looking good at all. Not just the Yuzhong, even in the early game, if the Claw does not have the farming space that it needed to have, if you dive in, you're gonna take more hits than you deal hits to them. So that's super, super bad for RLG.
Still, similar to day number 1, Modi making it look easy. Now with this Phoveus, yesterday was the Yuzhong that really put him on the map. Quick look at the items. Main frontliners, War Axe for the Phoveus, Dreadnought there. Well, there's a Dreadnought, and still just Dominus Ice for the Grok.
Oh no, that's a good wall. Oh my god, did Pancake miss the Shunpu? Yeah, I think he did earlier. Now Thorn Rose by Cannonair, the man who brought him to Guangzhou Gaming, technically.
Unfortunately. And now he has to, you know the meme of like, I don't know which movie was it from, like, I don't want to shoot you, brother.
Am I just too old to know what you're talking about?
Maybe it's too niche for you.
Yeah, let's go with niche. I'm not an unk.
And again, like, it's just so tough for Pancake to look for the pick because Owl has the Purifier, right?
No.
They have to use the way the Dragon Appeal.
Oh my goodness, they just kick back the Phoveus.
Sad.
Yeah, it is very difficult for, if you're a Radiance Legend fan, if you're Guangzhou Gaming, it's business as usual. Again, it's literally everything that you're asked for, taking the conditions in the map individually. Everything's just going right for them. Yes, they've suffered just a couple of kills. They lost a tower at the bottom, but that was because they traded that.
Yeah, and if they're down to inhibitor turrets for RLG here, the wave clear is quite abysmal here
Oh, yeah.
for RLG. I guess Suyo is not that bad for a jungler. Hey, he's a marksman at the end of the day, but it's a single target marksman. And Jushin, definitely not a lane clearer as strong as it used to be.
Yeah. Modi's just going to jump in now, forcing the Crimson Beacon out, and Modi has already baited so much, he's going to call Will Lock Pancake down, but Black Dragon Form now comes in with a blazing duet as well. The Petrify lands, but they're also tanky. Modi gets away, jumps back in, tech charge from May. Ashrid gets the killing spree, but Guangzhou Gaming secure the Lord, and now it's Cananeo. Venom Execution, read the BMI, Thor
Oh my
clean
God.
puncture.
A cannon event for Guangzhou Gaming. Once again, Canoneo is just dancing in the front of RLG's players. Deja vu on what happened in the first match for Guangzhou.
That sequence was just the perfect example of what this game has been for GZG, where RLG seems like, you know what, let's go for it. Again, perfect timing, perfect entry by Hehe, but they just did not have the damage. They did not have the items. Guangzhou then found the perfect counterplay yet again, the re-engage by Mei with the tech charge. Way too good.
Yeah. And when you have this much, you know, gold lead, but you gotta wait for a second, maybe? No. I'm actually surprised that Canoneo is equal in damage rate there.
So yeah, the good thing about the Suyo is when you're in a 1v1 against a physical damage dealer, you're still pretty good, man.
Yeah.
You have that damage reduction. It's just, when you're up against Magic, you're cooked.
And it's up against the Lunox, which is one of the burstiest and best magic damage dealers that we have currently in the metagame.
And I love the way that Xings plays this Lunox, man. Not on a flicker, which allows him to be aggressive, but he is still very much aggressive with the Purify, knowing that he has 3 tanky boys in the front that can take a lot of damage for him.
Yeah, also helps a lot that his ultimate literally allows him to escape being untargeted. Pancake. Try to force it
You
out.
gotta try.
Yeah.
Xing, very steely nerves. He did not pop the Purify. He did not pop his Brilliance. He knew that he'd be fine.
Has Xing and Owl used the Purify at all this game?
I think so. It was on cooldown one time, I think,
Okay.
for
Yeah.
Owl. Maybe.
So Xing, no? Just Owl? Owl has used it once?
We can check it later.
Okay. Oh, wow. That was a feint.
For 12 minute, no holy shield at all. Xing,
Xing.
1v1!
Still doesn't use the Purify. Might have
Oh,
to use
dragged
it
it.
now as the whole team tries to collapse on him. Xing, there we go, pop in a Purify, but a tech charge comes in and HHN won't be able to do much.
The composure, man. Look at that.
Yep.
He's not panicking at all because he knows that the rock is there. May with a good punch or like a knockback to the other side of the map.
That was terrific. Purify just walked away, made it look cool, while HHN looked like he was pressing a lot more buttons. At least he didn't use the Petrify. Just sacrificed the Black Dragon form, but that Purify, excuse me, is going to be coming back real quick. BOD now for Cananeo. 3 core items locked in. And with the Blade Armor on the Grok and Hehe's going to have a tough time being able to deal damage comfortably.
Oh, look at Pancake. He knows Xing doesn't have Purify, so he's really trying hard to find an angle, but unfortunately, Guangzhou Gaming are sticking together so well.
Yeah, the fate is not in their hands for RLG. It's just waiting for a mistake coming in from Guangzhou Gaming. The lead is already almost 7k. Might actually be 7k after this Lord, and there is absolutely no way. Oh, maybe it is. Hail Mary play.
Yeah, he actually is able to find Xing there, but the Petrify comes in. Xing still able to pop in Brilliance in time as May goes into the tech charge, but won't be able to find him too much. Cananeo still as consistent as ever on the retreat. Goes over to Puncture. May already running back, but Modi gets a kill. Oh, another! That's a double Infernal Pursuit constantly. It'll finally go down, but he's baited enough resources for Cananeo and May to clean up.
I thought Phoveus is an early game hero, but when you're up by this much, what can stop you? And there's no magic damage as well. The itemization just works out well for the Phoveus. No damage at all coming in from RLG and May.
He's flexing.
Yeah, he's asserting dominance.
Xing is trying to ult the base, goes for the Brilliance to reset the aggro with this wave. It certainly is going to be the end for RLG in game 1.
Guangzhou Gaming still riding the momentum from yesterday, and of course, with the substitutions that came in for RLG today, they just did not look comfortable at any point of that game number 1. Guangzhou well-deserved a win, and again, still making it look easy, coasting through the wild card so far.
Wow. Man, is it inevitable for Guangzhou Gaming to win this match? And it begs the question again, right? What triggers the change? Because so far, Radan K, we haven't seen a lot of things at all from the Jushin. In the early game, he was the one who's supposed to be dominating the mid lane, the mid bushes, to give space to all the side laners to work with. But unfortunately, he was not there.
Yeah, it really looked like compared to Mei and Xing, who felt like they were a hive mind. They shared one brain and they were just completely connected. Radan and Pancake, the disconnect felt so real. It was glaring.
Look at this though, Modi. Definitely in his prime, and Guangzhou Gaming just 8.
Yeah. Really tough here to find what RLG can work on. I mean, yes, start with the mid, but maybe we could dwell a little bit more in the theories of what RLG could do different as let's just look at GZG. Still looking really good. Their rotations at the center, individually in the side lanes, great control. They knew with the advantage that they had with that CC up against that Claude, Owl was just having the time of his life against that Claude of hehehe. And Guangzhou got the last laugh?
I don't think so, man. What was the question again? I actually didn't hear that.
Guangzhou
No,
got
I just said Guangzhou got the last laugh. It wasn't
Okay.
the question yet. Sorry.
My bad.
It might have been my tone, but, well, let's revisit something that Coach Vren mentioned about GZG. He actually wanted the team to be a pioneer of the M7 meta. And maybe it's a slight glimpse of it that so far in the wildcard, they're the only team that their gold laner never went with
Ooh.
Harith or a marksman. It's just fighters.
Pure
That is
fighters.
actually true. I don't know if that's a new thing though. Maybe the Sora in the gold lane is the only thing that's quote-unquote new.
Yeah.
But then again, in scrims probably there's hundreds of Sora in gold lane.
Yep.
So I don't know about the moniker of the pioneer of meta just yet
Yeah.
for Guangzhou Gaming. But they don't need to, at least in this match.
Yeah.
They can just play it stable, considering how the meta looked before the tournament and our expectations for the meta. I think this is a new style. I mean, the fighter golds, we thought it was just going to be more marksmen, more of the Harrods, more of the traditional gold laners, so they are bringing in something different.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of the marksmen just yet from Guangzhou, but seems like if Val's not online, Cannoneo definitely there. It seems like they're looking at Cannoneo a bit more to deal most of the damage. Yesterday, Ao's performances was muted compared to the jungler and even Modi and Xing. And I think, looking at the previous drafts, that might be one of the main points for GZG where your gold isn't really your main core, your main carry. It's the XP and jungle that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the initial damage.
So that's pretty much the style, at least in the previous patch, right? You try to play for the objective, you play for the XP lane, and that's why Yuzhong is probably one of the strongest, or maybe the strongest XP laner currently. It's getting banned a lot of times, and that is why RLG Gaming, they were... Wait, it's RLG Gaming, right?
Yeah,
RLG.
RLG.
They were
yeah.
the one that, they want to play the Yuzhong because they want
Yes.
to get the early game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out at all. And usually when things didn't work out, you say, just go back to the things that worked out. But so far, nothing has worked out for RLG.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just the small mistakes that are just, culminating in such big losses. I think, again, when it comes to turtle number 1 for them, they had the opportunity to give Yu Zhong the XP crab, but unfortunately, Astra took it away. So they halted themselves from getting level 4 on Yu Zhong and starting the turtle way faster than Guangzhou Gaming could react.
Yeah, and I thought that after that they were able to get that quick little kill onto Modi, that they could use that as a means to, hey, maybe let's finally start getting our Yuzhong out in the map a little bit more, get some wins in the opposing jungle, but they couldn't. It seemed like after that, it was just like, okay, let's just go back to reset. Why?
Exactly, and it's so weird when you have your Yu Zhong actually being the one to trade. It should be the Claude that's trading on the map, while the Yu Zhong is playing on the other side to react to the opponent rotations.
Yeah, that's why you've been very vocal about like Sanford. Yuzhong is the only hero that can be bring out by Sanford, right? Back then. Now maybe a lot of more players are more used to that, and that is why like not a lot of players can actually, or not a lot of teams can actually use the Yuzhong to perfection because it's a hero that requires momentum, right?
Yeah.
And it's also a team hero. It's not really
Yes.
just one guy.
For sure. And I just want to nitpick just a little bit. In the first few seconds, Radan K used the lantern to check the map in the bushes, and he lost out on a lot of mana. I'm not sure, is he not used to playing Jushin, or his mana was literally 0 in the first few seconds?
Not sure, man.
Maybe. Yeah, overcommitment maybe in terms of their own respective resources. A lot of things to work on here if you're RLG. And now clock is ticking. Again, with teams already on the board with one win, another series win, or more teams that and fall under the 2-0 column means that they're getting closer and closer to just already sealing slots for the next phase of the wildcard in the crossover match, where the top one goes up against the top two of the opposing group. And GZG's getting there. I think after what we saw from Guangzhou in day number 1, it's them, VP, and a little bit more towards Boostgate and Zone, somewhat in the middle of like of those actually advancing into the wild card. I think with that game number 1 performance, I can say it's tough to not see a main stage without Guangzhou Gaming.
Absolutely. And the fact that they are in the same group as VP means that they actually have a better chance to make it.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to be VP to make it to the main stage later in the knockout stage. So again, here, it could actually mark the end for RLG. Could also mark the end for Axe today. If VP and Guangzhou Gaming both win in a sweep, I think we know who's going to make it to the next stage.
On day 2.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
On day 2. And it's just going to be the first series. We're still waiting to head into game number 2, of course, between RLG and Guangzhou Gaming. It's so difficult because looking at the draft, can't even say it's because they gave away like a hero like a Grok. At the end of the day, they were still able to get a hero that could match that. In fact, it was them sort of somewhat setting the tempo in a way that Guangzhou Gaming didn't really take control of the early game until after the first turtle. So, Sheffin, I want to pick your brain here because the question still floats of like, what else can they do, RLG?
Nothing has worked out, but for me, stick to the basic. These are some of the heroes that requires precision to be able to be executed, right? Yu Zheng, very momentum-based. The Cho, you have to have a lot of mechanical skill to actually use that to perfection, and it's not really a good synergy either with the Jushin, right? Yes, you win the mid-trio, but in terms of damage, there's really not much that the Cho can be followed up towards.
Yeah. In the perfect world, maybe it's the Yuzhong, but then when the Yuzhong was just outclassed by the Phobias of Modi, 3, 3, and 8, it's undeniable now why the server that he's on looks at him and says that could be the next big thing, and he is putting his name out there as one of the best XP laners in the world.
3, 3, and 8, but it's really not about the KD, it's about the impact he had around the first few neutral objectives. And it was, again, Modi who stopped HHN from getting good Black Dragon forms and then peeling for the rest of the team.
Yeah. But shout out to Mei too.
Yeah, he's my vote too, Mei.
For me, it's Mei. There's a lot of really solid ball charts. That's one of them. I think there's a lot more plays too that Mei has made in this game. The peel and also the composure to be able to provide for his teammates. But yeah, Modi did his job as well, as good as Mei so far, especially in that one exchange in the late game that really won a Guangzhou game in the game, even though they kind of already won the game in the mid game.
So value here of Mei, a little bit more obvious, I would like to say. But I like the little moments that Modi had, just a few little dark waves, a shoulder tackle just to mess up with the opposing team just a little bit, or just enough to set up for things like this. It was actually a setup from Modi that ensured that Mei would get a beautiful tech charge in there.
Then obviously Cananeo, crisp clean always. See Michelle here, kind of worried despite the fact that they were dominating.
Maybe he was worried for RLG.
Oh.
I
Again
guess.
though, Mei tech charges really stop the tempo and the momentum that RLG could have had with this competition.
Honestly, that was too close for comfort, at least for me, in that kind of scenario. When they're up by like almost 8k, there's no reason for you to fight a 50-50 battle in the Lord Dance, especially in a Suyo, right?
Yeah.
Suyo versus Lancelot is kind of like a 50-50 because you have the extra damage for you to complement with that retribution.
And maybe that's one of the biggest problems. When you brought up the thing about Cho and the burst in the perfect world would have been coming from the Suyo, and then later on the Yuzhong when it becomes a full fight with a Furious Dive and the Petrify as well. And then the swing of the tail sweep. But they just really could not get there. I think this is a glaring example of what happens when, after the first objective, your roamer and mid just completely lose their footing in the map. They're off tempo, their rotations are right, and that's what it felt like watching this game number 1.
And also, please, for the love of God, there's other gold laner other than the Claude. Please.
So, hey,
Can we-
you
can we
you
get
got
away-
what you wanted. No Guinevere. Now you want more? Now you want no Claude?
See, the thing is,
Yeah, this is their third
It
straight
was-
Claude game, yeah.
it was Daylight yesterday. Oh, maybe Daylight just wants to play the Claude. He's a Claude user.
Yeah.
Now it's hey. What is this?
It's the Vietnamese Claude.
Yeah, actually, when you go back to the last time we actually saw Hey play gold lane, it was in M4 where Claude was his hottest pick. So maybe that was him falling back to comfort, right? But right now it just didn't work out. Yeah. If you're going to pick up Cho, you need the... If the burst that you're relying on in the early game is just the jungle, then that's not going to be fun. The control that you get from the juice in, it's not really what you're looking for. Hey. If this was maybe 2023, those blazing duets in the early to mid, those would have been really great. But in 2026, early 2026, it's not it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the Claude in the current meta. It's just the way that they build the composition.
Yeah.
Does it feel like the Claude will get a lot of value? Again, there's no combo with the Cho. It's mainly just a kick into a lantern.
Yeah.
A kick into a slow burn, and that never really happens in the way that RLG wants it to happen because Guangzhou Gaming have so much mobility. They have a lot of survivability as well. And sustain. Look at the sustain on this comp.
Almost everyone has a spell fam of some kind of healing ability, right? Except
Yeah.
for the Grok. Well, Grok also has the shields as well. So
CC
that,
immune.
yeah.
Kind of taken out, but still very, very easy to escape from these hard lock situations. And not to mention the Purify. So RLG wants someone to get locked down, and it's a slow burn. But it's always a Purify to react to Away the Dragon, and even then it's very hard to get Away the Dragon because Guangzhou Gaming are so good at sticking together and so good at utilizing Modi for peel. Whenever the Cho walks up, it's an instant shoulder bash, a dark wave,
Yep.
a form of cancel.
Yeah, it's those little micro crowd control that as the MLBB esports scene matured, a lot of the teams started putting way more value on. It's not just the big sets, it's not just the big AoE, it's the little things that matter, that add up. And now, again, these two orgs, more related than you realized. Even though they're called Guangzhou Gaming, at the heart